Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man, who always thinks he can. And oh yeah, your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And you can't be rewinding Raw alone here. You need to have the best of the West you can't forget about by your side. Sarah Marshall, what's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hello. How we doing?
Better.
Fine. Yes, you've gone through hell and back. As good old JR would say, you've been through hell, fire, and brimstone.
By God.
My God.
For everybody wondering, if anybody is wondering, other than last week was kind of weird. Anyway.
It was the 4th.
Yeah, so that's why we didn't record.
Holiday.
My beloved dog, Brady, was attacked by one of our other dogs and had to have surgery to close 2 giant wounds on his side. Which was scary because he's 16 and he had to be put under anesthesia. So that was really scary. But basically I spent all day at the vet on Friday. He had surgery Friday night and left with 2 incisions and a drain. So I was taking care of him all weekend. Like I could not let him out of my sight. So he got his drain removed yesterday and now he's just trying to heal up. So I am able to relax and actually get back to doing some of the things that I normally do. So that's why I'm able to record today. So
Why we're back. We were doing the recording videos and posts on the YouTube channel, which is why everyone needs to subscribe. Because then you know when we post a video. We go live, yes we do, but sometimes you have to record and just post videos. That's what doing this shit is all about. We're finding out different things and whatnot as we do this, and we're introducing new things. We're going back to the well by doing the videos. That was what we did before we even started going live, was just doing the videos, posted and see what's up. But no, we got that's why I need to subscribe. We have Sara yesterday, Bad Gal. I did go live for the Bad Gal. I am going to go live tomorrow as well. I'm just calling her Sara. We're just going with your name because not just because of we couldn't think of anything creative. It's because I just say your name like I'm the manager. Like I am in your corner. So I just keep saying like, Sara, no, Sara, you got to just hit her with the A, like something like that. So I just said, fuck it. Like I'm just making the name Sara, Bad Gal Sara, not a problem. And I'll go into more detail about it on the Thursday show because that's where this is, this topic really happens. But we were supposed to feud with Candice LeRae. That's how we left the last show. But we got a text message from Nikki Cross, who wanted us to be part of this meditation thing for wrestlers. And we're like, cool. I just said, because the whole point of Bad Gal, like no nonsense, like sure, whatever helps will work. Like I just want to get over. And as I mentioned, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but we get into a whole ass story spanning over multiple weeks over this goddamn app. So when I edit the video and give you the rundown of that and the other thing tomorrow, I'll go into that. But yeah, you got into a feud with some random girl named Ava about a meditation app. So that was your story this week.
All right.
Yeah, I wish I was kidding because that sounds so ridiculous, but got muted there for a second.
I was going to say it just got real quiet.
Yeah, I got muted there. Let's see if I'm on my right audio channels. We are. So that's enough of me, Roy, rambling. That's disgusting. That is fucking disgusting.
Look at this.
Yeah, jeez. Thank God WrestleMania is not in July. Oh my God. Sara, like how, like I seriously would not go outside. Like I wouldn't. I would be.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really go outside, so. But I don't know. You kind of. I mean, it's weird. It's like you don't get used to it, but you kind of do. It's hard
like
to explain.
your body gets accustomed to it, but the mind doesn't.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to explain because I think, I had a great grandmother who lived in Florida, and when she would come visit us when I lived in Massachusetts, like it'd be the summer and she would have a sweater on and complaining about how it was cold, and I just never understood that. Now I understand that
Yeah.
because yeah, it can feel kind of chilly when it's like 80 to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because my body's gotten so used to
Yeah,
the
20
heat.
degrees. Yeah, 20
I don't
degrees,
think
20
anyone
degrees.
really gets used to like 113 degrees, but yeah, I guess you just learn to accept it.
You do. I applaud you, really do. Jay, who was in session for the champs conference yesterday, another new thing
Mhm.
we're trying to do there. I think it went well, Sarah. I think it went pretty well. Um,
Good.
I forgot how difficult it was just having a stream of conscious thing. I haven't done that in a very long time, so getting back into that was pretty tough. David, what's up? Mommy is back. Bernard, hope you guys staying cool. Me too. I hope you are too. Vinny saying poor guy to Brady.
Mhm.
Um,
Thank you.
and David, glad Brady's recovering. That's awful. It is. It is very,
Yeah.
very sad. It is a very sad thing. But we're gonna raise the vibes. Are going to not raise the roof, just the vibes. Talking about the nonsense and shenanigans that happened last night on Raw because Sarah, boy, I'm getting excited for SummerSlam. I know we have, I would say, different opinions, but same cloth of the certain return that happened last night.
Mm.
But goddamn, like every week they just keep elevating the product, and you know, it's so nice to watch. It just it flows. The new people they're adding, they're actually continuing with stories, whether we like it or not. They're still good enough for us to be entertained by it and just nitpick it, which that's what everyone's gonna do. That's what makes wrestling awesome. Everyone just fucking nitpicks it. So Sarah, do us the honors and tell us what are we starting off the show with? Oh yeah, this. I
Uh,
touched on this yesterday.
yeah, I wanted to talk about it because Punk talked about it, so it felt like,
It's raw.
Punk kicked off the show, so he mentioned this, and I am a big John Cena fan. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest John Cena fan because I'm not like, covering my walls in John Cena merchandise, but I would say that I am a pretty
Is
big fan.
is he your number one over Cody?
Yes,
So he's your
1000%.
number one of all time, just not
Yes.
okay. Okay, that's what
Yeah.
I thought. I'm just okay.
Um, yeah. So that was shocking, I would say,
Yeah,
at Money in the Bank. I
I
had
missed that part.
heard on Twitter, like I read that he was one of the people that were backstage, and I didn't really think anything
Yeah,
of it. I'm like, they were in Toronto, and I know that his wife is Canadian, and I think it might be that she's from Toronto. So I was like, all right, maybe he's just there, or he's just gonna come out and do something. Like, I wasn't anticipating him to come out and like reveal this retirement tour.
no.
So that was shocking, and it just like is crazy to think about watching somebody for so long and watching their career start and then watching so long that I now see their career end. I think that
Yeah,
is crazy. Um, but I really like how they're going about this because I think it kind of maybe, I don't know, it takes a little bit of pressure off of him, at least for the beginning. But I love that he is able to commit so much time to even do a retirement tour. I mean, he said it's going to be basically the entirety of 2025. And he's already committed to 30 to 40 dates so far. We know that that's probably going to be more eventually.
it's gonna
But
grow. That list is
yeah,
gonna grow.
yeah, so we're gonna get to see him have his last, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, whatever it's going to be next year. And it's gonna be a wild ride, I feel like, because it's just gonna feel so much different now. Like, you're gonna be excited because it's like, oh my god, John Cena's in the Royal Rumble, and then you're gonna have that thought of like, oh wait, it's his last one. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna always have that at like every
That's what, yeah, at
show.
every event, it's like, yes, John Cena's going to be here, but it's like, because it's his last one, and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think that
where'd the time go?
I'm glad that he's getting this, and I think that like no one else really
Really.
deserves it as much as he does. I think that it's cool that he's able to kind of dictate how he goes out. And
Do the wrestling.
instead of having a retirement match, he's gonna have like a retirement tour. I think that's pretty cool. Very excited that he'll be at WrestleMania because we want to go. So I'm like crossing my fingers he's gonna do a meet and greet. That's the main thing that I'm like, please, because
I think, yeah, we're gonna be there. Like,
in
it's
2025 it'll have been almost 12 years since the last time I met him. So
lots changed. A lot
we
has
need,
changed there.
yeah, we need him to be there. I'm just really excited.
Oh, wrong comment.
Oh,
Would you guys be mad if he wins it next year? And by wins it, Royal
the
Rumble.
Rumble. I think it's kind of hard to say just because, you know, it's what, 6 months before the Rumble, and so much
It's
is going
6
to
months actually
change.
at this point. It's actually,
Yeah.
we're in the 6-month range. Yeah.
So much is going to change between now and then. So like it's really hard to say, okay, who deserves to win the Royal Rumble when you're talking about it in July. Like, who you think deserves to win it right now is not necessarily going to be the front runner come January, you know? So like if you ask me right now, I would love for John Cena to win the Royal Rumble. Do I think he
Yeah.
needs to? No. No, he doesn't. It also just it depends on like what his goals are. Like, he didn't shut down the idea of winning the WWE championship for a 17th time. So if he wants to have another title shot, the easiest way for him to do that and for people to not complain is if he's in the Royal Rumble and isn't number 30. But it's John Cena. Like, at the end of the day, he doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to, you
To
know,
get
put
it for a
himself at
title
the
match.
at the front of the line to be in the
I don't
title
care.
contention.
Yeah.
So it just depends if he just wants to have a Mania match, if he wants to have that final title run. Like, we don't know at this point. But if you ask me right now, I really would not care. But if you ask me again in like 5 months, then I might care. But again, it's John Cena. Like,
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what they do with him in this retirement tour because I I have a brain and realize that once he wins the title or whatnot, 17,
mhm.
that's what he won. That's the number he came out when he won.
I would just love for that. It would just be so great to come
And
out at 17. Yeah.
and with him went like I kind of lost my train of thought. If he wins it, like, it doesn't matter, like, at the end of the day, because he's still going to be done and retire. And the worst thing that comes of it is, all right, well, there's a tournament now for the vacant WWE title. And then what happens with there? Oh,
Well,
well,
he's
then you
not.
make more. No, and I'm just saying, like, worst comes to worst, like, he has a reign, like, his last match, like, maybe he doesn't win at
Oh,
Mania,
I'm sure.
or like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, worst case scenario of John Cena with the WWE Championship, and then after, like, is just a tournament for the vacant title. Like, let's really put, like,
Well,
look at what
yeah.
John Cena did for us for an entire, like, the 2 decades, seriously, as wrestling fans, and what he did for the business and everything. Like, if there was a man in any company, any promotion to get that treatment for their retirement tour, it's John Cena. And I could like it, I could not like it. He could be Kevin Owens at WrestleMania in front of me with me front row. And like, I don't care because it's John Cena.
Mhm.
So I don't
Oh my
care
god.
what they do at this point. Did you see Jay's comment or?
No, I was gonna tell you. I go a little ham when John Cena is at a show. So if you think that I was like that over Cody or I guess McDaddy, you haven't seen me yet for John Cena. So.
Well, I did see you for Cena,
Oh
but the
yes, but
problem was I also was in my own tunnel vision
mhm.
because he came out and then The Rock came out and then the Shields music hit. So I thought John Moxley just like
Yeah.
teleported from Japan.
Yeah.
And then the gong, as soon as the gong hit, I tell people this, and I don't even care if they think I'm a fucking crazy person. My soul left my body. Like, my soul left my body when that gong hit. That was the closest thing I had to like a spiritual moment, out of body experience. So like for John Cena to like win the WWE title at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes, like
If
I
that,
don't care.
I
Feed it to
feel
me.
that would be. Oh my god, I can't even. I need, first of all, I'm gonna need John Cena to be a free agent. He has to be a free agent. He cannot be sold on only Raw or only SmackDown, because if he's going to go after the WWE title, then he needs to go to SmackDown. But as Jay said, he is not a Grand Slam champion, so he would also need to dabble in the Intercontinental Championship, which would be great. I think he could do that maybe toward the end or something, because I feel like everybody assumes that Cody is not going to lose the title until WrestleMania or later. If that's the case, let's say he loses at WrestleMania, who better than to lose to than John Cena?
John Cena.
Like,
who cares?
No one's gonna look at you differently. You know what I mean? But I could see John Cena being like, I don't want to beat Cody anymore.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He put over Austin Theory. I mean,
yeah, like, I could see him being like, no, I don't want to do that. But
the time, no one cares.
But I mean, I guess maybe if it didn't happen at Mania, I don't know. I just feel like we have to see him win 17. Like, we can't have Ric Flair be the winningest champion ever. I'm sorry, but we can't have that anymore. And I don't want Charlotte Flair to be the one that breaks it for, in general, because then it's going to be like the Flairs. It's like, no. John Cena was the face of the company literally every single week for 15 years straight. Like, no, it's not the same. So I would love to see that. And if we saw him win number 17, I would.
Here's the thing. Ric Flair was more the face of the rival promotions of WWE than he was WWE.
Yeah.
They just bought his image and likeness, essentially. Like, yes, he did. He was in the 90s and, with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment. I get it, all right? But when you look at the brass tacks of it, Ric Flair is not the face of WWE.
Yeah.
He is John Cena. So, here we go.
Richard said, that he probably wants to win this 17 or become a Grand Slam. I feel like he should be able to do both, honestly. But he also wants to see Cena versus Cody, Randy, Punk, Gunther, Braun. But he also doesn't think that Cena is going to beat Cody. I don't think that's a bad idea. I just think maybe not at Mania. Because the thing is if he's going to win 17, he has to beat Cody. It's not the world heavyweight. So.
Technically it is. Yes.
It counts that. Oh, okay.
It counts.
Yeah, but it's not going to hit the same.
It won't, but it's wrestling.
I guess, I don't know. There's so much to consider because, like, who knows who's going to be world heavyweight champion by WrestleMania?
Could be Damian Priest,
but hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Could.
Speaking of, so as we said, CM Punk kicked off the show, unfortunately, and after talking his trash about Drew McIntyre, which we'll get to later. Seth Rollins came out because, of course, Seth Rollins has beef with him based on what he did at Money in the Bank, which same Seth, me too. So Seth is not happy about him interfering in his world heavyweight title match because it's not just that Punk interfered to make sure Drew had an unsuccessful cash in. He also interfered and basically set it up so that Seth lost his rematch against Damian Priest. And of course, they had that agreement that if Seth lost, he could no longer challenge Priest for the title as long as he was champion, which we'll also get to later. So Seth and Punk face off for the first time in, I don't know, since he returned. I think it's like the first time that they really have had words on screen with each other for months. And I noticed so many people were like, oh, they have such good promos. Like, it never feels scripted. I don't think there was an ounce of that was scripted. They had guidelines that they wanted to hit, and they hit them. But none of that was scripted. I
No,
don't
no,
care
no,
what
no.
anyone says. None of that. Like,
No, they
there was even those like moments where it was like real life awkward. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Because it was like, oh, Punk wanted to start saying something, but Seth wasn't done, or there was like a pause, and it was like, okay, who's going to keep talking? Like, if that was actually scripted, we wouldn't have felt that. You know what
Well,
I
to me,
mean?
it felt organic. Like
Yes.
it didn't feel like they were talking, letting the crowd react, and then talking again. Like they
Yeah.
were going in on conversation to the point where there could have been a crowd there or not. That's what made it so great, is that you just felt like a fly on the wall throughout this entire thing.
Well, and I think the thing about that interaction specifically that felt that way or could come off that way too is because everybody who watches WWE on a regular basis is very aware of the real life beef that Seth had with Punk and might still have. It's kind of,
I would say still.
yeah, it's one of those things where there are certain kinds of people who can take their real life negative feelings towards somebody and work with them and put on the best promos, the best matches, whatever. And I think those two are some of the best in that regard. So, I think that's why it felt so natural, because Seth was talking from a legitimate place. You know what I mean?
Oh
It was
yeah.
like he just gave him a new excuse to be mad at him or to not like him, because we all saw the outburst that he had when Punk returned at Survivor Series, the drama that
Incredible.
ensued after that. But this was like the latest thing that was directly at Rollins. And as he said, I was willing to let everything else go, whatever, but here you are again, making everything about you, not caring about this, blah, blah, blah. Punk pretends that he's going to apologize, but he does the I'm sorry, but. So, anytime you say you apologize and put a but, it completely
No
negates
one
everything
cares.
you said
Yeah.
before that. So, we knew that based off of what happened at Money in the Bank, that this was going to be reignited. And I'm really curious to see where this goes, because we already assume that Punk is going to be facing Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. So it was like, I wonder when this is going to be picked up again, because
Mhm.
obviously they're not forgetting about it.
No, they're not forgetting about it. They're building this to be a generational feud. Like this is
Yeah.
going to be, I mean, the way they're doing it with the Punk costing him at literally every turn, and to have Drew be the person who got suspended because he's so angry, he took it to that next step where he didn't have to, and got himself like it's just little details like that that make this so worth investing into the trilogy and not just the first match. And just this one match. Like I want the whole kit and caboodle with it, where it ends up being one of their three matches are for a championship. Like this is a championship esque feud.
Yeah, and I mean, based on how things are going, I'm not sure when the championship would get involved. I guess if we're looking further down the road than just like the next 3 months or something, just because I think the match at SummerSlam between Damian and Gunther is going to be really interesting, because I don't know how you legitimately have Gunther lose. You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
that's it. Like I
it
don't
was a
think, yeah,
huge
at
deal for
all.
him to lose at WrestleMania, and that was just the Intercontinental title. And I don't mean to diminish that, but this is the World Heavyweight title. This would be his first, big title.
Yeah,
Um,
you can't
s-
make him lose it,
yeah, so
especially
it
with
feels like
Damian
there's
Priest.
gonna have to be something else that happens, because if Gunther gets it, then that kind of throws a wrench into the World Heavyweight title picture, because it doesn't then make sense for Punk to go after it, or Seth, or whatever. You know what I mean? Because there's not
Mhm.
a history there with Gunther in the same way. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting end of the year, which is nice, because it was looking a little bit scarce, I would say, after WrestleMania. So I'm glad that we're at a point now where it's like, oh, okay, things are getting good.
Very good. Let me see if we have any comments
Okay.
here. What CM Punk did was awesome.
I
Damn
hated it.
right.
Nope, I hated it. No,
I
see, this is okay. Let's talk about this for a second.
okay. You see what
Um,
you did, Jay?
No, it's fine.
It's,
Everybody knew that this was going to happen, right? Like,
yes.
I was one of the people that was saying Drew McIntyre was going to win Money in the Bank. People thought that I was absolutely insane. I was like, no, dude is winning. And unfortunately, he is going to cash in. I hated that part. I thought that was stupid. However, the easiest counter to anybody who wants to say that they should have given the Money in the Bank to somebody else is we literally just saw Money in the Bank cash in 3 months ago. Did we really need to have another man have the Money in the Bank briefcase for however many months and deal with that cash in and the story? No, we didn't need to.
No.
The focus would be great to be Tiffany Stratton this year, right? So to me, I'm like, okay, if I think about it from that perspective, then that's fine, because also, like, the only other person who I would say that would have been interesting to win Money in the Bank in that match, other than I guess Andrade, but that would be more so to elevate him.
That was the hard pick. I felt that in my quarter zone.
Yeah, would be LA Knight. But we already know that LA Knight is going to probably win the United States Championship at SummerSlam, so it wouldn't have been like that great for him to win Money in the Bank now.
And cash in. But here's the thing, if he's winning Money in the Bank, you know they would use that secondary option and have him cash in on Logan Paul.
Yeah, and
to get him and entice him to have a match because he doesn't defend the title.
Yeah.
So brilliant on them. I echo everything you're saying and agree even more.
So
this is where we don't agree. This part.
No, I don't think we disagree. So everybody knew that Punk was going to interfere in some way. There are people who thought it was going to be AJ Lee. I said that wasn't going to happen. I believe you said that wasn't going to happen either, but we fantasy booked like, if she did show up, how should she do it? So we knew this was going to happen. So I think what is the most confusing and like frustrating part from like like what's the word I'm looking for? From
unbiased.
No, it's just like from if you look at it from reality, the perspective of reality outside of wrestling, it doesn't make any sense that Punk was able to get involved in the match, interfere in this match, put his hands and make sure that Drew failed his cash in. And Drew's response to that was to have an outburst of anger, rightfully so, and he gets suspended indefinitely. But nothing happens to Punk, which they tried to make it seem like, oh, I was fined $25,000.
He was fined.
Boy, bye.
He was fined. He was.
They're trying to save face at this point.
Yeah, you gotta find both parties. They get it. But one is
the thing that I think is they're gonna have to have this involved in the storyline. It has to be involved in the storyline. Like I even was talking to somebody and was saying, this could be somewhat of the foundation of a future Punk heel turn. That maybe he's like more of a corporate guy now in this second run, and that is why no one's doing anything, because he's invading in these matches and ruining them. Because if you look at like these other instances of people interfering in matches, how quickly does Adam Pearce come out in the security? Not a single person has come out all 3 times that Punk has interfered in a Drew McIntyre title match. Nobody, not a single soul comes out. So to me, it's like, okay, that has to be part of the storyline, right? Because Punk or Drew, when he was quitting, said, you guys aren't doing anything. You know, you guys are brainwashed by Punk. You're letting him get away with everything, blah, blah, blah. That's continuing. So I feel like that has to be involved in some way, because if you're thinking about this from a logical perspective, it doesn't make any sense unless it becomes part of the story.
Yes, it's going to come out at some point, building to their match, that Punk has received no punishments for his interference in anything. I would like to see it play out maybe in like, I don't know, him aligning himself with someone. Like there's so many layers you can go down with this story, so I'm kind of for it, and I'm just so invested at this point that you could throw anything and I'm gonna be like a trained dancing monkey and just dance, you know what I mean? I'm here.
I'm into it as well. I just think that when there are threads like this kind of like blowing in the wind in the story, that's when I feel like, okay, you need to tie these up. You know what I mean? Because that is something that Vince wouldn't do. Like, you would see these inconsistencies or these things that didn't make sense, not all the time, but often. And then you would be like, okay, but that doesn't make any sense. And all you had to do was have this happen, and then that would explain this. And so I just want to make sure, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not in charge, but I would like to believe that Triple H has a plan for this, because I feel like if it's not addressed, then it's a huge lost opportunity. And as I said, I know that I can have like too much of a logical brain sometimes when I'm watching wrestling, and it's not, wrestling isn't always logical. But I would not be able to like not think about this. Like, if they don't address it, you know.
No, they have to. Triple H, it's always an evolution.
Yeah.
In leadership, so he'll definitely address it, whether it is just a little detail like thrown out in a promo, or if it legit is a story. They're going to address it. I mean, for God's sakes, the amount of Easter eggs that you saw behind the camera, or in the far shot, whatever you want to call it, last night during interviews. I mean, you got to watch Raw differently now.
Yes.
And in a good way. I'm saying this, it may not sound it by my tone, but like, it's just nice. Like, it's just good to want to watch a show instead of just glaze over to it, so you know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Richard says Punk interfered in a triple threat to security is stopping that, but the problem is it's CM Punk. This is the third time that he's done that.
Sarah.
I understand that, but it's the third time. So that's the thing, like Jay saying it too. I understand, but it's CM Punk involved in a Drew McIntyre match. I feel like the circumstances are far different than if this was just a random person getting involved. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is part of the story, but
we'll for it. I want to see it. Oh, this. We already there? No way.
No, I jumped ahead. Because why not? I'm not. Not everything is always in order. So I just wanted to talk about it. Anyway, so it's because it's when Chad Gable was in the ring and Nikki Cross brought him the package. So I was like, I might as well just talk about the whole thing now.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see Jay getting the just like
so. After Chad Gable versus Jey Uso happened, we hear the Wyatt Six music, which is then shown up by Nikki Cross, who hands another VHS tape to the commentary team, and we eventually see another video of Bo Dallas, mostly Bo Dallas, which I think was a big deal because there were only a little few snippets of Uncle Howdy. You heard Uncle Howdy, but it was mostly Bo. And then we finally get the, I guess, I don't know, official introduction of the rest of the Wyatt Six, because they were shown all throughout that, including their faces outside of the masks, behind the masks.
I loved it. Loved all that.
And then we later see Bo in Adam Pearce's office. I have a lot to say about that, by the way, but I don't know who is in charge of making these videos. I don't know. I don't know, but all I know,
I don't know how it's done.
The production is incredible. I don't know who's involved in all of the story, because I believe that the guy that worked on movies and was like working with Bray, I don't believe he's with the company anymore. I want to say that I saw that somewhere. But they're doing such a good job with this. Like, I just don't have anything else to say. Like, everything that they've done so far has been compelling, has been really good. I think it's very reminiscent of how the Wyatt family came about at first, because we kept seeing these vignettes and we kept seeing Bray talk and establish himself as this cult leader or whatever. And I think that they're going about it the same way, and I think that's the perfect thing to do, not just because they need to establish themselves and differentiate themselves from what was happening or what maybe Bray was going to do with the Wyatt Six, because we now have to think about this being like inspired by or in collaboration with Bray Wyatt's Wyatt Six, but this very much is Bo Dallas's Wyatt Six, right? But they're doing such a good job. So good.
Do you notice how similarly Bray and Bo looked,
Okay,
or like
this is what I wanted to talk about.
this is
This
so
is no,
eerie,
this is
like so
bonkers.
eerie.
This is bonkers to me. This is like insane to me. I don't understand how the internet all just collectively decided that last night on Raw is when they finally noticed that Bo Dallas looks like Bray Wyatt. Like, where have you been? Like,
No, yeah, I know he
I
looked
I
like him. I can see resemblances. Yeah, no, but
I
I'm saying like I thought it was Bray Wyatt
okay,
when they had
I
some certain angles and lighting. That's all.
okay,
Like, it was eerie.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think the thing is I think Bo has his hair cut a little bit differently. It looks like he's gotten it shaved like up to here, you know.
He
But
has
I
a
think
little
it's the
yellow stuff
beard.
too.
I think it's
Oh
the
yeah,
beard
100%
because
beard.
when Bo has a shaved beard, when he's clean shaven, or
When he's
it's
this
more of a
Bo,
tamed beard, yeah, it's like you can see the differences. But even if you look like, I think if you look at pictures of younger Bray, I think younger Bray and Bo look like each other a lot more.
yes, I would
Um,
agree.
and I think that he might. I mean, his look has changed since he left WWE, obviously, but I really wouldn't be surprised if he is trying to emulate him in a little bit of way.
Oh,
You know what I
100%.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I just thought that was insane. Like the amount of people that were tweeting, like, "Oh my god, I thought that was Bray Wyatt. Oh my god, he looks so much like Bray Wyatt." I'm just like, "Oh my god, are you guys that unfamiliar with Bo Dallas?" Like, I'm just like so confused. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of the people that have always seen Bray in him.
You
I
have,
don't know.
because I didn't see it that much until last night. I was like, holy shit,
It's just weird
there.
when that happens with the universe. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that is when it's weird to me, when like everybody has the same thought at the same time. That's what like trips me out, and that's why I thought it was weird, because I'm like, why is everybody having this thought right now? Um but that, I would say, so the Uncle Howdy video stuff, that's great. Bo being in Adam Pierce's office,
Uh,
amazing,
that was
incredible.
really eerie. That was what's crazy is that was the first time he's been on programming since I think pre-COVID. I would
As Bo
think maybe
Dallas,
as
as
Bo
yeah.
Dallas. Like he was Bo Dallas there, and I the more I think about this, say him just being in the office,
What
this
if
is
he?
where my thoughts, bro. My
Okay,
thoughts go. He's in the office. All right, that could be anyone technically. If we're gonna think wrestling brain here, like that could be anybody because we don't know him as Uncle Howdy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like we don't know. Like he's just Bo Dallas. Why is Bo Dallas in there? And then it's like, well, then again, the Wyatts don't have an entrance yet. They have no music. It's just the one piano note that on and on,
Mm-hmm.
and we just get these crazy vignettes. Which, to be honest, that could be anything, like realistically. So we haven't got like, I mean, yeah. So the fact that he got the applause and pop that he did for just being in the office, that says a lot with the story that, oh, we haven't even unwrapped the gift yet.
We're
You know,
invested already.
we're just like, oh, we saw it, we just want it in our hands. I'm
Mm-hmm.
already there. I don't care how they do it. I told you this off camera, but I just finished watching the Fiend playlist that WWE does on YouTube, and I was in my dark, I call it my dark era, when I wasn't watching wrestling at its, I would say, the past couple years, whatever, that 2020 era,
Mm-hmm.
right before the pandemic and into it. So, but that's when he thrived,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the stuff I had a worry because I haven't seen it. I thought would be a little too childish, like, oh, it's just wrestling, like the boogeyman, he's eating worms. Like, no, this was spooky ass shit.
Well,
Like,
and it's a lot more
yeah,
psychological.
very
So
psychological.
I feel like that's the like
I love
modern
that.
day approach to doing these types of things, you know, because I
Yes.
think that uh obviously WWE was known for the superhero stuff, the larger than life, the like cartoony stuff, you know what I mean? Like
It doesn't work anymore.
for so long, and yeah, and it doesn't, especially because their audience is growing also. Like they're not catering to children as much as they used to, which is a good thing because like kids can still enjoy it, but also you need to make sure that your main demographic, which is 18 to 35, is enjoying it. And like those are your bread and butter, not the 7-year-olds, you know what I mean? Like
They're the
they're
ones
not.
that have the credit card and they don't need to ask permission to use
Yes.
it.
So
Yeah.
I think taking the psychological route is the best thing to do, and that's what they're doing, which that's why I said I think is why there are they're going about it obviously in similarly to the way that Bray was doing the Fiend, but a lot of what they're talking about and the struggles that they're having and stuff is similar to the Wyatt family. So I feel like it's like the happy medium of using both of them. Because I think if they did just come in and try to approach it in the same way that the Fiend was, I don't think it would have worked. You know what I mean?
No,
There's a
it's
lot
very
more
different. Yeah.
there's a lot more relatability to someone who's vulnerable or in a dark place or uh any type of whatever you could say, psychological break or mental health issues, like anything that we could say that they're trying to portray the Wyatt Six or Bo Dallas specifically dealing with right now is a lot easier for people to identify with. So I think that they're going about it the right way. But I do kind of wonder because someone did point this out. Bo Dallas is still technically listed as an
It's
alumni
so fun. It's
in
so I did see
WWE.
that.
No, but what I'm saying is, what if he has a different name?
What if he's Taylor?
Yeah, what if he's Taylor Wyatt or Bo Wyatt, or maybe he does say maybe he will be Taylor Rotunda or something. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be mad about it. Bo Dallas is kind of a corny name.
Yeah,
So
and you can leave it in NXT. I
and
have
I
no
don't, yeah, and
problem
I
doing
don't think it
that.
would be a problem for anybody. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that's Bo Dallas. Everybody knows that's Bray Wyatt's brother. Like no one would care about him returning. Plus, they just did it with Shawn Spears. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
everyone knew he was Ty Dillinger. It's not like we're gonna pretend like we didn't
everyone was
know.
chanting Tandem. Like,
Yeah,
what are we
I
doing?
feel like you
can't
have
fool
to
wrestling,
though.
man.
Like you can't not. So I would kind of be for that because I think that would also allow him to form a character himself, and not have to kind of be like, oh yeah, this was what I used to do, but now I have to kind of like reinvent who Bo Dallas is. Like it would be nice if he could just have like a new, fresh starting point with a new character that maybe it's a name he chose or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of cool. Yes, that's what I was saying. Bo Wyatt or Taylor Wyatt. Yes, we had the same thoughts. I don't know if we said that at the exact same time, but that's very weird. Yes. Anyway, what is he saying? Imagine Bo is living this Bray Wyatt Bray wrote it in Bo living his dead brother storyline. It's incredible. I cried a ton when he died. So did I, and I can still get upset about it, honestly. But I think that this is a great way to honor him as much as people wanted to try and give him crap for like doing it. I feel like, if you're familiar with anything that Bray has ever said, it's like they always dreamt about being able to do this stuff together, and then they finally got to, and then Bray got sick. So I don't think Bray is sitting up in heaven being like, fuck my brother. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe he's doing this. Like, he's not mad. If anything,
No,
he's like excited that his legacy is continuing and that his brother is able to take what they started and make it his own while also like incorporating everything that they had talked about. Like, I just can't imagine why anyone would think otherwise, but that's just me. And I agree, Ashton. I believe that he is making him proud 100%. I just wanted to talk about this really quick. We saw Big Bronson Reed was talking some ish to Sheamus because Sheamus is just getting involved with everybody. Apparently, he doesn't
literally
care. Literally everybody, because I guess Kaiser was supposed to be here this week, but apparently he wasn't.
Oh, he's still injured.
Yeah, he's still injured. So we have to have Sheamus turn his focus to somebody else, which is Bronson Reed. And he was like, I will show you what I'm going to do to you when I take down this guy who's not even 200 pounds in Pete Dunne. So he took on Pete Dunne. And during that match, Sheamus came out to help him because Bronson, of course, demolished him. And Sheamus came out because he's got beef with Bronson. But also has a past with Pete Dunne, of course, or at least Butch, I guess we should say.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yes.
It's not Pete Dunne
Yeah.
around Sheamus.
But Mr. Dunne did not appear to be at all interested in reuniting the Brawling Brutes with Sheamus, which I'm assuming that they're going to turn this into a storyline, because I don't really see the point of having him react that way to Sheamus being there if they weren't going to do something with it. But I have to say, I am not that interested. Like, I feel like the Brawling Brutes went on for too long anyway, so I just don't know that I really care about being like, oh no, is Pete Dunne gonna be okay with Sheamus, his old friend?
Yeah,
like, I just don't know that I care.
I'd like a couple matches on Raw, like a little Raw storyline, but let's not make this into a big old thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, if
Tyler Bates out, so I get it that he
yeah,
needs to do something, so whatever. But like, I don't care about this more than just like a Karrion Kross New Day. You're not gonna that didn't get transferred over to the pay-per-view, but it entertained you on Raw for the third hour before we got to the main event. You know?
Yeah, I just don't know how they really go about making this anything, because it's like when we talk about the Brawling Brutes breaking up, Sheamus had nothing to do with that. Sheamus was injured.
Yeah, it was
Ridge.
So
yeah, so it's like Sheamus was injured and gone, and that was why the Brawling Brutes continued, and then they eventually broke up, whatever. So it's like the beef shouldn't really be there.
Don't blame Sheamus.
Yeah,
don't bring
Pete Dunne, and that's the other thing. If you guys just do not pronounce Pete Dunne's name correctly,
Pete Dunne,
we cannot speak. Okay,
it's Pete Dunne. That is the fucking one. Imagine calling that to like his music. I love his entrance, by the way. It's one of the few good ones.
Who's?
By Death Dunne's.
Oh, yeah.
It brings it back to the bruiserweight. Like, dude's a badass. Like, that's what he should be presented as.
I know. Well, he is. Just like when they were just on
Butch,
NXT.
Just like, oh, yeah. He was like the Tasmanian devil.
I know, that was so cringe.
With a pint of Guinness.
I know, that was so cringe. All right. So after Seth Rollins had his little face-to-face with CM Punk, where he warned him about wanting to kick his ass once he's finally cleared, which we know has not happened yet. I'm assuming we're getting close, because he was very physical with Drew McIntyre at Money in the Bank. And of course, people assume that we're going to see CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. So fingers crossed that he heals up in the next few weeks so he can do that. Seth approaches Mr. Damian Priest in the back to give him credit for being a fighting champion, for winning on Saturday, even though technically it was exactly how he's won every single one of his title defenses, and that was having outside help. This time it wasn't on his behalf necessarily, but he benefited from it, not to mention he didn't kick out. So he also benefited from the referee deciding that, yeah, you did kick out. This was Seth's way, I think, of kind of like trying to get people to shut up, I think, because he also pointed it out when he was, in the ring and being like, oh, like I can deal with referees messing up and whatever.
He did mention, he did a comment like
he's trying, because if you saw the video, he like congratulated Damian also, when he won the title and stuff like that. So it's like he likes him. But Damian, being somewhat of a babyface, I guess, decided that he's not going to screw over Seth Rollins by saying, like, yeah, you can't challenge me anymore. He decides that, you know what, I need to prove myself, which he does, because, I mean, if you're really going to look at the things that people have criticized Priest for during his title run, the same thing happened on Saturday. So he said, after my match with Gunther at SummerSlam, because I'm still going to be champion after SummerSlam, I am waiving our gentleman's agreement about you not being able to challenge me again for the title, and we will face off whenever you want. I was kind of torn on this, honestly, but it didn't really surprise me, because I feel like they are kind of teetering the line of what Damian Priest is right now.
I think it's playing into the story. It's playing into his story on how he can't win the big one without a little bit of help. And he wanted to prove that on Saturday. But here's the thing, Judgment Day did their job. They stayed backstage but people still got into his business. So he just like kind of fed up. Like, I just want to, I don't want to do you like that because I'm a man of my word. And I said that they would stay in the back and there'd be no interference. Obviously, no one could have accounted for CM Punk and
Well,
whatnot. So
yeah.
we're in
Yeah.
kayfabe
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
All right. No one could have accounted for that. So it's on that weird time because of other events transpire. I'm trying not to get ahead, but like,
Well,
because he is not really the heel. Like he's not like
that's
the
the
badass.
thing. Is
Yeah,
he should have just been like, I don't care how I won. I beat you. I retained
exactly.
my title. No, you cannot get another chance. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
that would have been more of like, okay, Damien's hardcore like heel. That's what he should have done in my book. But based off of what we saw at the end of Raw, it looks like there might be some trouble with Judgment Day, and I really would not be surprised if he's going to be one of those
Oh yeah.
people. But that might be the reason why, honestly. Oh, okay, there we go. So then we see that Sami Zayn is out to celebrate his win as only the third person to have successfully pinned Braun Breaker in his career clean at Money in the Bank on Saturday. And it looks like this is not going anywhere, which most matches are not like that. When you have a feud, it usually does not end after one match. So I don't think this was surprising to anybody. I'm not sure why so many people were shocked that Sami retained. I was kind of thrown off about why people were so convinced that.
I'm more just shocked how he did it.
I mean, I understand, but I don't think that Braun is like untouchable yet. Like, I think that there's so much behind Sami winning the Intercontinental Championship, and in my eyes, it would not have made sense for him to lose the first time against Braun Breaker. I assume that they're probably going to have a rematch at SummerSlam, and maybe that is when Braun Breaker wins. I just think that they needed it to be a couple months of Sami being a champion and like defending it against several people and doing it in pretty convincing. Doing it convincingly
In a convincing fashion.
Yes.
I thought that I would just, my only issue with it is Joe Henry appeared, is that
Joe
I
Hendry's
would
on
have,
TV?
no, it was just a preview. No, he's not.
Oh.
Sorry. It was just, my only issue with it was that the way they're protecting Braun, I would have seen if to me felt like he wouldn't have lost clean.
Yeah.
Like I get that you want to build Sami as this just ultimate underdog, which I'm here for it.
He doesn't want to be though.
But it's more of, let's keep kind of poking the bear until he just absolutely erupts.
Oh, he was asking for it from Braun. He was poking him. Like,
he kind of was.
Yeah.
I mean, when he first got into the ring and Braun was just staring him down like a laser eye to
like
eye.
a weirdo. Imagine someone just came up to you and like did that.
I've kind of had that happen. Funny story.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it was kind of funny though.
No.
Because he tried to beat me up in a public place, and I was like, "You're not gonna do shit."
But Braun Breaker doing that to you, I don't think.
See, that's different. This man did not look like Braun Breaker when he did it to me.
That's what I'm saying. That would be terrifying.
Oh, then that would be terrible.
So yeah, this led to eventually, which we will talk about. I guess we could talk about it. Braun Breaker versus Ilya Dragunov.
He launched that chair at him. Launched it.
Okay,
awesome.
2 really funny moments over the last 4 days. Drew McIntyre chucking a ladder at Jey Uso's face.
Like bullseye.
And then Braun Breaker taking a chair as if it was like a basketball and throwing it at Ilya. Like, what are we doing? What is happening?
It like a champ, too. Ilya sold it like a champ.
Yes, and we know this ends in a DQ because of that, obviously.
Because it's Raw.
But which I appreciate because I really thought that they were going to have Ilya job for Braun Breaker, and I was like, thank you. I just have to take a second to talk about Ilya Dragunov, okay? This man is a psychopath. I don't know how else to frame it, but he seriously is. Like, I am not discrediting anybody else's work in the ring, how hard they try, how much effort they put in. I'm not doing that. But
That's
when
all
it
we're here for.
comes to acting as if this is your last day on earth, that you need to put on the greatest match you have ever put on in your entire career, Ilya Dragunov does that on a weekly basis. This man acts like the rent is due tomorrow. He's acting like
Every
this
day.
is his only chance to win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's like
It's
every
insane.
single match, he's absolutely insane. And he bleeds. I swear to God, this man is made of paper.
No,
He
that no,
bleeds.
that man just he's just bleeding. There's no blade. There's none of that shit. This
No.
man just gets hit and he bleeds because he likes the taste of his own blood.
It's like
Like say it seriously. He actually hydrates from tasting his own blood. I swear.
It's just insane. Like I think this every week, and I'm not going to talk about it every single week because then that would become a little bit redundant. But we knew that this was going to be a great match because of their history in NXT, so it's not like there was any question of that. I get amazed by Ilya. Like I just don't understand
I love
how he does this on every single match. And the thing is, like, I appreciate it because I think you can kind of tell sometimes when someone's heart is just not in it, or they just don't really care, or they're just kind of like going through the motions. Like,
Yeah,
you've
they're out
seen
of
that.
it.
Yeah. And Ilya, no, that's not in his DNA. It's like every single match is a title match. Like every single night is like his WrestleMania main event opportunity. You know what I mean?
Goddamn power to you.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So obviously his involvement in this is going to become interesting, which I appreciate because I'm like, can we do something with Ilya? And I'm glad that he's not jobbing for Braun because
He's not
too
jobbing.
good.
No, this is a neck and neck feud.
Yeah.
These both not jobbing at all.
Yeah.
Vinny, drinking blood is satanic. Do what? It is satanic, but have you ever seen Adam Page drink Swerve's blood and then spit it like Gangrel?
But
Because
also,
that's wrestling.
did I just delete something else? I don't know.
No, you just tushed away a comment.
Oh, whoops. Okay.
Or not, yeah, that. Okay, yay!
Okay.
I didn't really pay attention to this match because I don't care.
I just have one thing I wanted to say about it.
All right, go for it.
So we see the continuation of Braun Strowman and his obsession with the Judgment Day, specifically JD McDaddy, which, I mean, I get it. Hello, daddy. But he teams up with Awesome Truth to take on the Judgment Day, including Carlito, who appears to be a full-fledged member of Judgment Day because they're not really addressing that anymore. Since they just took the titles away from the Awesome Truth. So this match, whatever, I don't care. The reason why I liked it is because Finn Balor got the pin, and I am thankful. I'm also thankful that that man just signed a new 5-year contract with WWE, which means he's going to be tied to WWE for another 5 years until he's 47. Guys, I'm excited.
That's good news.
That means I get at least 5 more years of Fergie Ferg, okay? And that is very important to me. So I needed to just make sure that we mentioned that because I was very happy to see that he got the win finally, even though there was a whole lot of chaos going on in this match. But I didn't think that this was meant to be taken seriously anyway. Like, it was a 3-on-3 match. Like, I don't think whatever, no one really cares about what this was doing anyway. So but anyway, I am glad that Finn is going to be around for a while because I think he deserves everything. Okay. And I really want to see him get another world title run in the next 5 years because that man might be 40 something years old, but does he look like he's 40 something years old? Does he act like he's 40 something years old? Does he perform like he's 40 years old? No.
Well, I look older than Finn Balor. That's not good.
Yeah.
I'm not 30 yet.
Yeah, that's true. So one of the things that CM Punk was talking about when he kicked off Raw, of course, was Drew McIntyre, and he made sure that everybody knew, he has a personal issue with him because he stole my bracelet, and the bracelet has my wife's name and dog's name on it. Cry about it, okay?
Well,
but while he tried to be like, oh, I also got fined, he let it be known that he actually wants McIntyre's suspension to be lifted because he doesn't really see a whole lot of positives coming out of that. And honestly, I was bummed that Drew wasn't there on Raw. I wanted him to show up and just be like, I don't care. that you said I'm suspended. I am here. That's not what happened. And Punk made sure to have a one-on-one conversation with Adam Pearce about it, and Pearce agreed to talk to Drew to see if he could behave himself next week, and lifted the suspension, which Drew will be back. So I think next week Drew returns. Punk will not be there, as Adam Pearce advocated for him to stay home. I have a feeling that ain't happening, but we'll see. I am very interested to see how this is going to go, because we are only 3.5 weeks away from SummerSlam. So they have to do something between now and then. And obviously they have a lot of backstory to their feud, but I'm just wondering how they're going to go about like the match, and is there going to be a stipulation? I still think that the best idea that I have seen online regarding their SummerSlam matchup is recreating Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at SummerSlam 2013. Let Drew go in there and just like hit Claymore after Claymore after Claymore after Claymore. Like, just let him do it over and over and over again, and have him completely demolish CM Punk. It has to be done. It has to.
Yeah.
You know why?
Go for it.
It has to, because right now Drew looks like a little baby, because he has let Punk get the best of him on 3 different occasions in the biggest matches of his career, right? 3 title matches. Punk has won. Punk has come out the winner. Even if he didn't walk away as a match winner or a champion, he made sure that Drew didn't either, and that was his main goal, right? So to me, there's just no reason for their first matchup for Punk to get in any real offense, or if he does, he cannot come anywhere near winning. Because then what are we doing to Drew?
Yeah, and because of how I want to see 3 matches, I want to see this first one just be a bloody beatdown.
Yes.
Because of everything you do. Like, Drew has gone through the ringer of this man just keeps screwing him when he is not looking. He's not paying attention. Now that he's got his 110% focus on this man, he should terminate him.
Yes.
Like, just I want to see, like, this would be a match where you have blood, but not because you're hitting him with a chair or a weapon repeatedly. Like,
Yeah.
you busted out, like, he gets busted over because of a ring post or something just on the external, and then if it's on the head, if it's right up here, boom, Claymore kick to open the wound, and then boom, and you need that visual, because that would make this feud that much more intense.
Well, like, we need a continuation in a ring of what he did to CM Punk, you know, when he brought his bloodied body and just dropped him.
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
We need to see the match version of that. And I think that it makes sense for Drew to win the first one, Punk to win the second one, and maybe Drew wins the final one, right? Like I said, like, Punk will win the battles, but we need Drew to win the war, because as we've talked about, yeah, Drew has made this personal, but all he has done has been talking. That's all he's done. You know, and Punk decided to take it upon himself to get physical with Drew and to take opportunities away from him, which you would say goes a lot further than him just saying, "Oh, I stole your bracelet. Haha, you tore your tricep." You know what I mean? Like, there's
more layers to this.
Yes. So I think that Drew has to win, because if he doesn't, then why would there be a second match? Like, Punk got his revenge for the 4th time. Why would Punk then say, "Yeah, let's do this again"? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
He's like, "I beat your ass." Yeah. And
I mean, I think it's definitely probably fantasy booking to say that they would replicate that 2013 match, but I feel like that would just be the best way to go about it. I really think that we need to see that anger out of Drew, and that it just becomes all he can think about in that match. And I feel like people would be fine with it, because it would just mean so much more to their story than to having an actual match for like 15 minutes of them going back and forth and Drew eventually winning. I just want to see Drew rip him apart. And
so you annihilate.
just annihilate him. I remember when I watched SummerSlam 2013 and I could not believe that we just kept seeing suplex after suplex after suplex on John Cena. But
It was 17.
it made sense though, right? Like, and Cena was at a point in his career where he was like, yeah, dude, I'll do this. And Punk should be at a point in his career where he's like, yeah, I'll do this. Like, the title's not involved. You losing to Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam is not losing the championship at WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not
So,
going to lose fans from chanting your name.
right.
At
This
least
to me
not.
just it feels like it would further their story for both sides than anything else. But we'll have to see. Anyway,
What's next?
No one agrees, I guess. Then we see
This was awesome. This was
awesome.
I legitimately had a PTSD or flashback to
Yes.
the Trish Stratus. No, the Trish Stratus.
Yes.
Triple H. I was like, yup, we're getting it. Thank God. And the way we got it felt like I know I've been hanging out with old people before we recorded, so this reference is going to be kind of old. But like Brady Bunch or a show like that where the heads pop out like 1, 2, 3, like,
yep.
It was so good. Like,
yeah. So Liv finally got to get her hands on Dom. I'm sorry, but his when she was approaching him about them warming up for their match and he didn't want to, and then eventually he was like, okay, fine, there better be tendies or nuggies.
I was like, yeah, that's my king.
Tendies or nuggies?
That's my king. I don't care. You can call whatever
same. I was like, me too. Like, most of the time, if I'm going to a restaurant that I've never been to, like, I want to look at their menu to make sure at least there's chicken fingers, because I'm like, all right, if there's nothing else on the menu that I will eat, as long as there's chicken fingers, I'm good. Like that. I will go to a steakhouse and order chicken fingers. Like, that is me. So,
do you want a kids menu with like the word search and
in the crayons? Hell yeah. Yeah, the tablecloths that you can color on.
Yes, the tablecloths that you can color and make
yes. So I thought that was great, and then so it was great to see Dom kind of start to cave a bit, and then we see that again when Liv is like, "Hey, you need to stretch," and of course she goes for like the groin stretch, and Dom is not into it at first, but then he was like, "Oh wait, this actually feels kind of good," and that's when the rest of Judgment Day peek in, and I could not help but look at JD. He could not contain it. He tried to pop in and be like, "What are you doing?" And then he just starts laughing immediately. And I'm like, "See, this is why this whole thing is even better, because they're having fun with it." So
it's so funny.
Yes, it's and the thing that's so good about Finn specifically is he almost never breaks. He is the king of like making everyone else break, but you wouldn't think that because he was always such a serious or like boring baby face. But since he's become a heel, like, hello, remember when it's like Damien's a fan, I'm a fan, Rhea's a fan, and Jay's like, for real? For real.
Like he's so committed to the bit at all times, like in his facial reactions too.
Yes.
He doesn't break, but he gives you facial reactions that are like, all right, you react like, yeah, I'm fourth wall. I know what you're feeling.
Yeah, because when the Bloodline and the Judgment Day were having their face off in the ring, he was even like making faces and Jay was breaking. Like, and all Finn was doing was like, just like, facially reacting to what Damien was saying or something.
Jay can't hold it. He's like Jimmy Fallon on SNL. He can't hold it.
That would be me too. I would. Yeah, that 100% be me too. Especially if I think something's funny and it's like you're not supposed to laugh.
Oh yeah, that's when you're going to.
Yeah. So then we see Damage Control versus Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, and Lyra Valkyria. Not a whole lot. I mean, the match was fine. The match was good. I feel like what was the most interesting is we saw that video of Damage Control, which they are now saying that they are losing control. And so it looks like everybody is going to be joining EO in her mental breakdown since losing the championship and losing Queen of the Ring. But did you also notice how they were being cheered during this match? Damage Control was being cheered.
I didn't notice it, but now that you mention it, it just like makes me laugh. Because I'm gonna cheer Damage Control. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cheer Damage Control.
I just always think that's funny because, like, obviously they're trying to book them like this heel group and these girls that are just gonna ruin everything and blah blah blah. You're supposed to hate them. Look what they did to Bailey and whatever. So they put them against, Lyra, who people really like, and Kaden and Katana. Like, they
They're just like
can't.
the
They'll
most over
never
baby
be
faces
heels. Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
They're
But then
literally called the
everybody is
Electric
like
Carnival.
cheering on Damage Control. I'm like, what is going on? Like, but I mean, I'm interested to see what they end up doing because obviously we see after this match that we get the new super team, which I'm actually like super into this. Of Sonya Deville,
like
who is
this.
back from injury, Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler are a new badass trio. Okay. I am here for this. I don't know what's gonna come about it because I think groups of 3 are kind of awkward. Just because they can't really go for tag team titles, or they can, but like one person's out. And obviously it's only specific groups that they can kind of feud with in a fair fashion. But I'm into this. I'm way more invested in what they're going to do as a trio than what we thought might be happening, which we thought maybe Sonya was trying to infiltrate and like take Zoe away or take Shayna away. Instead, it's going to be the 3 of them. And I feel like if you can't figure out how to utilize these girls on their own because they are similar, where they're like badass fighting women with like intense fighting backgrounds and stuff, might as well put the 3 of them together and then figure it out, and I think that that's awesome.
Yeah, and the fact that we're gonna see Sonya Deville in a more aggressive role,
Mm-hmm.
like we're actually gonna see parts of her MMA background. Because like before, I just thought of her as that jobber who's gonna lose to the most over babyface champion, like a Bianca Belair. Like she's gonna feud with Bianca Belair. She's gonna lose a lot. You know what I mean? So when I see her align with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, like, and the moves that she was doing last night, you can tell when during the attack that they're going to utilize a lot more of her MMA background, which is they need to. Like she has it, she has a star power. Like we get that she can do the character work, the segments, blah blah blah, managerial. She was a GM for a little bit, Now let's see her in the ring.
Well, and they used to do that, like when she first came out, because I don't know if you remember, she was on Tough Enough.
She was. It's when she came.
Yeah, when she first, was around in WWE, she did kind of try to be like the fighter and stuff, but I think it was overly trying and it came off corny. I'm sorry, but when someone is like shadow boxing as they're like making their entrance in WWE, I feel cringe. It's so awkward. And that's a lot of what she did. And it was like, oh, I'm so badass. Look at me shadowboxing. I'm like, I can do that too, girl. Like that doesn't make me scary. But I think the way that they presented her, at least now in this return, is the perfect way. And I think that these 3 girls being in a group together is good, because I think that even if they only chose 2 of them to go after the tag titles or to put them in the tag title picture, they're more of a threat, than like you could say Jade and Bianca. Like they're a threat to them.
Yes.
Where I would say most of the other women in the tag team division are not. So
No,
yeah,
not.
so I think that this is going to be interesting as long as they go about it the right way, because as we've seen, they haven't really done a great job booking them individually, at least on the main roster. Obviously, Zoe was one of the top women in NXT. Shayna was as well. Sonya has just always been kind of up and down, but maybe putting them together will be good. I don't know.
I hope so. I want to see these girls kick ass.
All right, then we get to the main event, which Dirty Dom tried to get out of because he did not want to tag team with Liv Morgan versus his deadbeat dad, Rey Mysterio, and Zelina Vega. But he had to, because Anna Pierce was like, sorry, Liv set this up and it's happening. We don't care. So Liv comes out in her Dirty Dom t-shirt, and I don't know why, but I kind of want that Dirty Dom t-shirt because it says Dirty Dom. Like, she made it cute. So I'm like, Liv,
She did make it really cute.
I was like, I kind of want it. And so, they were not really super into each other in this match. Obviously, Dom is still trying to make it be like, oh, I don't know. But we did see him get a face full of Liv at one point.
Good word. Good,
yeah.
good ad lib there. That was a mad lib.
Yes. And despite all of the chaos, we do see Mr. Dom Mysterio finally beat his dad in a wrestling match for the first time. Okay. And Liv was so excited. Oh my God, we won. And then she's like, wait a second, you beat your dad. Like, that's so exciting. And at first I was like, I'm not into it. Like, whatever. Yeah, it's cool.
He
And then
hugged her.
it like clicked in his brain. Like, oh, wait a second. I just beat my dad and it was in a match with Liv. So he went to hug Liv. She jumped on him, very AJ Lee-esque. Okay. And he falls on top of her, tries to give him a little smooch, and he leans in to do it. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Nah, dude. Here's
He was
here's the thing. I've been in these situations. She was pulling him.
no,
You
he
can
got
see the
close to her.
nose.
He got close to her
I know
face.
what they're doing. All
Okay.
right. She had a little hand in there. She was the director.
I understand, but this is the first time where he actually was like going along with it.
100% was going along with it.
Yes, 100%.
He was. I mean, he was flowing. He was going with
He was feeling the vibes.
He was just like, I won. Beautiful women's champion Liv Morgan is hugging me. This is great. And then,
of course, oh my God, I know that everybody else is excited, but guys, I was not excited about it. And we'll talk about it in a second. So, did you see Liv's tweet? She's like, "This is my brutality," and she posted the 4 pictures of her.
God,
Liv.
if this
queen.
girl was my girlfriend, my life would be a just car wreck.
Yes.
This is a hot. I love every minute of it, but God, she's toxic.
So as this moment is happening, we hear Rhea Ripley's music hit, which then makes Liv jump out of the ring and run away because she knows mommy is coming for her. Dom is very upset. Obviously, he's like, oh crap, she's back. She's gonna be so mad at me. I can't believe I was doing this. They get, face to face. Rhea is very upset. And as they went off air, you see them going to the back. And Rhea wants nothing to do with Dom. He's trying to explain himself. I'm sorry. Blah, 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 blah. So, first of all, I have to say this. I'm a Rhea Ripley fan. Okay. So everything I'm about to say afterwards does not take that fact away. So please do not try and frame this as Sara hates Rhea. She's Team Liv or whatever. I am actually kind of bummed that Rhea returned on Raw, because I was saying that when we've talked about this storyline and how well it's been going and how great Liv and Dom have been, the idea of Rhea coming back was always like, okay, it needs to be pushed out a little bit because we need to see the evolution of the dynamic between Liv and Dom. Because up until, the last 2 weeks, like this past week and last week, Dom has been like reluctant but caving a little bit more to Liv's advances, yes, right? And because he lost a lot when he was booed up with Rhea, him beating his deadbeat dad alongside Liv brought out a whole new appreciation for little Miss Liv Morgan. And that is when we finally got to see Dom get the closest to cheating.
He caved.
On Rhea. And then to have Rhea come out at that moment, I feel like is just such a disservice to the story. I think we needed to see Dom cave more. I think we needed to see a little bit more, even if it was just another week or two, of him maybe like still trying to fight it, but kind of caving into it a little bit more, to the point where you kind of saw that he wasn't as avoiding her as much as he possibly could. Like maybe he wasn't telling her to go away a little bit more. I think that would have been better, because otherwise everything that has been happening so far has been initiated by Liv, and Dom hasn't been okay with any of it really, and hasn't initiated much of it at all. So it's like, at the end of the day, why would Rhea be super angry at Dom? Like, other than being a little bit inappropriate. You know what I mean? I wanted to see it be like way worse. She has every right and all the story to be mad at Liv. But
Oh yeah, no, that's
I
not where I'm
yeah,
getting at.
I just wanted to see a little bit more of a reason for her to be pissed at Dom, because right now it's like, yeah, he did some things that were not great, but like he should have taken it further, in my opinion.
I was the same way until I realized that they're probably saving a bunch of returns or surprises for SummerSlam, including one of those being Roman Reigns. So you don't want to overpower Roman. Rhea, I get that. I will, though, not totally throw out your feelings and say that, yeah, I would have liked a week. I would have liked a moment of them. If we have to be a little PG with it, just a makeout. I mean, we've seen plenty of makeouts
Or
on the USA Network.
like the illusion of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, yeah, and
Yeah.
like that's the closing shot. Like,
Yeah, like,
fine.
because
I
it
don't
could be
need it.
even that she came out and her hair was all messy, or he had lipstick on his face. You know, you didn't actually see anything, but like there was
Exactly.
the idea of it.
The implication. And
Mhm.
I would have liked that so that we get a week of cocky Dom.
Yes.
Cocky Dirty Dom would be is another level of Dirty Dom that I want to see. So with
Yeah.
the beautiful champion girl blonde on her on his arm, he's walking in. He just beat his deadbeat dad. Like have him be like, I run Judgment Day now. You know, like
Yeah.
something like that where it's like, all right, Dom, cool. And then maybe they're celebrating in the ring and they're doing like, you know what? Liv is right. I am Daddy Dom or something. And then Rhea hits and then
Yeah.
she comes out and then you still have that buffer period before SummerSlam to build this match because you don't need any rapid rush to build it. It's already been building,
Yeah.
so you don't need any of that. I'm okay with it now, and I'm even more thinking about this, kind of just spitting, is that I'm also more okay with it now because now I have an inkling that what they could do is with Dom side with Liv when
Yes.
Rhea be
That's
like,
what I
no,
was
no, she's not that bad. Like she did all this and all that. Like,
Well,
yeah, I'll let you go.
my guess is, they're already saying that Rhea is listed internally as a babyface, which we knew. Hello, everyone knew that. And then we've also seen what looks like is going to be a babyface turn or whatever you want to call it for Damian Priest. So it almost looks like we are going to see the dissolve of Judgment Day. At
Oh
least
yeah.
like Rhea's going to leave and Damian's going to leave, which I think, they're trying to kind of build Damian as this singles champion anyway, obviously. And he's already alluded to not needing Judgment Day, so I feel like it's just a matter of time. Rhea has already done that. Rhea never really benefited from Judgment Day either. Obviously, she's the only woman, so they didn't get involved in her stuff. So she doesn't need them. So I think it can still just be Finn, JD, and Dominic, and then they can bring in Liv. I do think that we're probably going to get to a point where this is what I need. So if I'm gonna be okay with Rhea being back now, I need it to be that the end game is that Dom chooses Liv. Um, and he's gonna do that because he beat the most important person in his life to beat, and that was his dad, and he couldn't do that anytime that he was with Rhea. Like he's going to uh put Liv on a pedestal because of that. You know what I mean? Like I think that he's going to be like, okay, this was my my goal. My biggest goal in life was to beat my deadbeat dad, and I finally did it. And who was by my side? It was Liv. It wasn't Rhea. Like he's going to also try to
Psychological.
confess his innocence, because he's gonna be like, I didn't do anything. It was all her, and Rhea's just gonna do this and blah blah blah. He's also probably gonna get pissed about Damian selling him out, which we saw.
Oh yeah, we saw on Instagram. He put the Stewie Griffin gif. Like he
Well,
knows.
but also I think they posted it on social media. He
Yeah,
was
the
laughing.
clip.
Yes. So
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
clip. Yeah.
yeah, they're that I think is going to play a part in it as well. And we've already seen Liv has won over basically all of Judgment Day outside of Damian. So it makes the most sense for Damian and Rhea to leave and Liv to be in. And I just feel like the dynamic of Liv and Dom together, I need it. They're so good together. And we
They're
haven't even
like,
seen it full blown version of that yet. You
oh
know what
no,
I
we've
mean?
only
Like
seen teases.
we
Yes.
we got a taste of it in this mixed tag match. But like the two of them together, it will be so insufferable, but I'm going to like eat it up. Like I need it.
It's gonna be incredible. I'm so excited for it.
I'm excited for everything. Like I love Rhea, so I'm really happy that that she's back. So I'm excited to see how that's going to go. I really hope that she doesn't beat Liv, at least at SummerSlam. I think they need to draw that out a bit. Maybe that's when Dom gets involved. Maybe Dom is like Rhea's puppy for a while, and then when they face off at SummerSlam, he makes sure that Rhea loses. That would be fine with me. That's like the ultimate betrayal and the ultimate sign of who you're aligning yourself with.
I can't come up with anything after that. That's
okay. So
that's really good.
That's really what I want to see. But yeah, I'm excited.
What are you doing, Dom? I can just picture Michael Cole's reaction right now on commentary when.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
We've been
they're
saying
great.
this too, Finn and Liv, that yeah, they've got something going on together for sure. And Jay, no, if I had a boyfriend doing that stuff, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be mad. But first of all, this is acting. Second of all,
yeah, you got to realize Hollywood is a different animal, Jay.
But also,
like, it's acting, man.
But also, like, I'm not saying that I would be okay with it. But if you're thinking about people who are in relationships and the people that forgive people who have cheated on them, more often than not, the people who are forgiving someone who has cheated on them, their partner did a hell of a lot more than what Dominic has done. That's what I'm saying. Like we've seen Liv kiss him. Okay, that's like okay, and then she stretched him. That's like the most physical that they've really gotten. You know what I mean? Like if we're talking
Kissing
about real life,
nothing. Kissing is nothing.
Yeah, well, and he didn't like.
He didn't reciprocate. He didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't pull away. But I just mean like, you know, in real life, people will go and have sex with multiple people, and their girlfriends will be like, "It's okay, I forgive you." You know what I mean? It's like Dom was kissed by another woman and like touched by another woman, but like they didn't. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like in the big scheme of things, it wasn't as bad.
There's so much worse. There's so much worse shit that could be happening, and it's just hilarious. Then we get to see it all.
Yes, but anyway, that was Raw.
That's Raw. We had a lot to talk about today. A lot to discuss as NXT is on my TV and probably yours as well. And as Sara flashes the new Pretty Deadly figures that she got. They got their own entrance on Friday too. It was awesome.
I'm pissed off, dude. I'm so mad. My TV did not record it. For some reason, instead, it recorded the rerun of the week before on FS1 at 1 a.m.
Oh, it probably, yeah. Oh.
I was like, what the hell?
That is kind of bullshit.
So I still haven't seen their entrance, and I'm mad because that is my favorite. Their gear is my favorite gear that they've ever worn, too. So I wish I was an artiste because I would literally change these into that gear.
You know? I wouldn't even know where to begin. I wouldn't. I'm so artistically challenged. It's insane.
Yeah.
So that's all we got for Raw. All right. Thanks for tuning in here and sticking with us. We'll be back on Thursday for the actual No Nights Off show, where we talk all things wrestling, like NXT. It's going on right now. Lexis King and Tony D'Angelo fighting it out.
Go Lexis King.
Tied 1-1 with Tony D'Angelo right now.
I'm not. Okay, I like Lexis King. I haven't paid enough attention to his stuff in NXT, but I feel like I want to be a Lexis King fan. Because one, his vignettes before he debuted, loved them.
Fire.
Debut entrance. Does he still come out on the throne like that?
He still comes out on the throne.
Sick. See, the fact that he like trolls everybody with the stuff in his beard, I love that.
It's insane.
I love that he still does it and that people get so mad about it because he does not walk around in like his normal day-to-day life like that. So I think that's funny. I don't know. I just think he's interesting. And I feel like a lot of people clown him. So it kind of makes me want to like him more. You know what I mean? Like
that's our brand.
That's funny to me. So
that fits. Yeah. So go watch that. We'll talk probably some NXT. I mean, AEW's tomorrow. You know what else tomorrow, Sara?
No.
You're getting shipped off. You're getting shipped off to the Nonsense Galaxy to fight Candice LeRae because we couldn't. We got wrapped up in Nikki Cross's Ponzi scheme. I'm sorry. I'm going to take the champ of the peeps. Your manager is going to take that one on the chin. I don't know why I got involved in Nikki Cross's business. We clearly see on Monday nights what happens when you get involved with Nikki Cross's business. So
Yes.
I'm going to take that one, and we're going to actually feud with Candice LeRae this week. So tune into that on twitch.tv/Nonsense Sports Network. And if that was too much for you to follow right now, that's fine. Just follow us on all social media platforms where I post the link for when I go live, and the accounts are in the descriptions below. And you're already down there. Hit that subscribe button. I said it earlier. All right. You haven't seen the bad girl yet? Well, we may get videos coming up there. I've been doing some editing and cooking in the lab to get some videos up there. I had the Champs Conference, all right, yesterday because Sara was dealing with her personal issues. So I stepped in, talked about the events from the weekend. We might see more of that type of shit heading your way. It's all about improving in 2024. So that's what we're doing on this channel. So thank you for supporting us as we grow. God bless. Remember that you could do it. All you got to do is try. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah.